Hello everyone and welcome to Civic Platform. This is your host Zuher Almusre. February is Black History Month, and to speak about this topic we have on the studio Jimmy Moses, and he is MLA of San Vital, Winnipeg. Hi Jimmy.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your show, Zuher.
Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. And let's start, Jimmy. Who are you and what are you doing?
I am Jamie Moses. I am the MLA for St. Vital, and I've been elected since 2019. And in 2019, I became one of the first 3 Black MLAs ever to be elected in the province of Manitoba. Mm-hmm. So we're happy to be representing the community as well as the neighborhood of St. Vital.
So when you mention like you are one of the 3, like a Black person represent the communities here, why we need to say that? Like why it's not just like I am one of these people? Why we just said one of the Black people? So it was like a journey to be in this position. Tell me about it.
I think it's important to recognize that fact because it gives a lot of hope to and a representation opportunity for younger people mm-hmm. who inspire to look for leadership in politics or in other fields. There hasn't been this type of representation from the Black community in the political field mm-hmm. ever before in Manitoba's history until 2019. So it's important to acknowledge that and recognize it as a platform for inspiring younger people to take on greater and greater challenges within our community.
Mm-hmm. And how your family like understand this, what you reach today, like their son representing them in very high level in the government today and represent the communities. I heard you like many times when you speak in the front of the people, you mention your kids and your wife. So how that will be, like you are a good example for the Black communities in Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm super proud to be from Winnipeg. I was born here in Winnipeg. My parents immigrated from Trinidad and Tobago, and so I'm proud to have that heritage as part of me as well. I have my wife and my 2 young kids who live in St. Vital with me, and we're happy to call that neighborhood our home. But we're also happy that as part of my job, we get to educate and hopefully inspire younger people to face some of the challenges that they may be seeing in their community or that they may be experiencing. And hopefully, as part of my job, I can be a little bit of an example of how we can navigate those challenges in our community, try to break down some of those barriers and lift ourselves and people in our neighborhood and our community up to achieve greater and better things in the places that we live in.
Mm-hmm. So if we ask you about like what issues or challenges the Black communities today face in Winnipeg, there is something special you want to highlight it?
Obviously, it goes without doubt that people in the Black community face prejudice, face discrimination. That goes without being said. And I think a lot of good work is being done to overcome some of those barriers. But what I think is really important is for us to understand that Black people want to be able to accomplish as many things as any other Manitoban in every single field. The Black community is very diverse, and they are not a monolith wanting to achieve just success in one area. But Black people have talent in every field: education, politics, healthcare, business, and any field that you may think of. And so I want to make sure that whether you're a Black person watching this, that you feel like you have that opportunity to succeed in any field that you're interested in. And if you're a part of any other community in Manitoba, you feel that you're able to welcome everybody, regardless of their skin color, into that field.
How the Winnipeggers accept the Black community, the way how they dress, what kind of, sometimes they said like they are very loud, but this is like a natural from the Black communities. So how you find the Winnipeggers accepting the Black community today?
Really good question, Zuher. I think that it's important for us to understand that everybody is going to be different. Even if you're born here and you live in different parts of the city, you'll have different experiences. And that is even multiplied for people who maybe grew up in different cultures and now are living in Winnipeg and living in Manitoba. But the unique thing about where we live, about Winnipeg, about Manitoba, is that we have the capacity to accept one another, not in spite of our differences, but because of our differences. And so some people might be considered, loud in one setting, or some people might be too quiet in others. Some people might feel like, hearing a concert and sitting still and listening, and other people might want to get up and dance. Regardless of any of those things, that is what makes ourselves who we are as a community. And the more we embrace those as benefits, as highlights, the more we're going to enrich our entire community.
So I attend one of the event, and the leader for this event, it was from the Black community. And when she called your name to come and speak, she said, "Jim, Moses, it's us, it's ours, it's our hero." So they feel like you are a good example for them. So when you attend this kind of event, how you try to make these ideas more clear about the Black communities? So what you said for the people to make that ideas different, what they have it in their minds?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that sometimes, historically in Manitoba and in Canada, the Black community hasn't always felt welcome in certain spaces. Mm-hmm. And I think there's been a lot of prejudice or historical racism, systemic racism that goes into that. And part of that is to break down some of those barriers and fight against some of that systemic prejudice. Another part of that is to have representation achieve some success. And I'm so glad that I can be considered one of those people. And as we have more people representative, it can be used as a way to leverage that, to make sure that we create more spaces in our community for people to feel welcome in. And so I think the event that you're talking about specifically was one that was welcoming people of all races, and in particular the Black community, to feel welcome in the business community, to feel like that was their space as well as everyone else's space. And it allowed people to feel comfortable, feel like themselves, and feel part of Manitoba.
I had a conversation with a friend. He's from the Black communities, and he said, we have to be very talented. We have to be something very unique to make the people recognize us, like a special a special doctor or a special a sport player. In this way, the people will see us and will welcome us. We are not like another people. If that's a fact, or what your answer to these people who would have these ideas?
Yeah, I can't speak for everyone's experience, but I do know that there is, a lot of people feel like, and I have felt in my own life, that you need to work twice as hard just to be able to get half as much. And from the fact that there's been systemic barriers that have held Black people back for so many years. Now, I can't say that all these barriers have disappeared. They haven't. But I think that we're progressing as a society to erase some of them. And I hope that a part of my job, I can be a part of that solution to fight against those prejudices, to fight against racism, so that people from the Black community don't feel like they have that pressure to work twice as hard to get half as much as someone else. We want the playing field to be equal for all people of any color and background in Manitoba, so that people have equal opportunity to be successful.
There are some programs I recognize it when I'm following some website, like solving mental health for Black people. Like these people, they have some assist for their mental health to make them feeling better, especially if they are immigrant new to Winnipeg or Manitoba, and they don't feel like they are fitting in. So what's your message to these people? Sometimes we don't need a consultation from a doctor. We need someone who's know exactly the pain where it is, because he's every day with the communities. So what will your message for these people?
It's a great question, because mental health challenges are really, really important, and a lot of people are facing those challenges in our communities today. And it's particularly people who are Black or people in the BIPOC community face sometimes additional challenges with dealing with that. And I can speak even from my own personal experience. I think back to, especially as a young person growing up in Winnipeg, feeling a little bit like you're in two worlds, feeling like you're in the world of your own home community, the Black community, and also feeling like you have another world, maybe in school with your friends who might primarily be white, and balancing those two things. Now, when you have that going on, you can have additional mental health challenges when it comes to balancing that out and finding out who you are and finding your own self-identity can lead to having greater mental health challenges. On top of the fact that many people also might be coming to a new country in coming to Winnipeg, or Black people might also have language barriers and not understanding English or French here in Winnipeg and Manitoba. And so all of these can combine into having greater mental health challenges. And so it's important to not only just tackle those mental health challenges for people in the BIPOC community, but also do it in a culturally relevant and sensitive way so that the help that they're getting or the services that are available are meaningful and impactful to that person regardless of the language they speak or their nationality.
Sometimes you make like very hard work to make the picture, the outfit of this community looks nice. But some people, like, they do some mistakes. I will say it like mistakes, or they don't, like, they cost you some, like, all your work, it will be coming back to step one because the people still judging that person because he is representing this community. For example, for like the Muslim community, if someone did something wrong, they said all Muslim community, they are the same. And this fact, it's not true because this person, he should be do mistake like any other person, right? And this mistakes, it's just coming from one person. So how we can let these people, like, give them some advices to avoid this kind of mistakes, because we need to make a clear image about us. So it is in the same way what you said for this kind of behaviors.
So Zuher, you put it very well. You can't judge a people or a group of people by the actions of one person. And you really shouldn't be doing that. We want to make sure that we foster a society here where we can really understand individuals and the individual merits of any person, instead of saying, well, this is what one person did, and so I'm going to now have that assumption of you as well. Those are the things that people face every day. They're prejudged on what they might do because of something that someone else might have heard. And so I think that's about helping to have that greater understanding. A lot of those things, those issues that you're specifically talking about, can be resolved by if we understand and talk to each other a little more. We have more diversity and get to know more people from a variety of cultural backgrounds. And then we can stop that idea of prejudging what you might do and who you might be because of the color of my skin, and understand who I am as a person, as an individual, and then look at me for me.
Mm-hmm. So you dressed it very well, Jamie. I want to say, like, when your kids now at home and they face something racist in the school, so as a father, what's your message to them? How you advise them to accept it, and in the same time, how to defend themselves without make anything like it takes like a highlight as a person. So what's your message to your kids? And also for the parents who's watching you as well.
How do we talk to our kids about racism, and how do we talk to our kids about prejudice? Because sadly, it's still going to be unavoidable for some young people. But what I hope for my kids and for any kids is that they are able to find a sense of self-identity in terms of who they are, and be proud of the fact that they're Black or they're brown or they're mixed race. My kids are mixed race. My wife is European. And so my kids will have a unique identity that is different from mine, from being Black, and it's different from my wife's, who's white. They'll have their own identities. And so it's important for me to instill on them, for them to be proud of who they are as people, as individuals. not let any prejudice or racism get them down or stop them from becoming who they want to be, but to embrace themselves and push forward through those sort of challenges to become the people that they know they are as individuals.
So in this month, in February, we celebrate Black History Month. What that means to the Black community to have this memory in February?
Black History Month is a really important month. It's about a few things. It's about celebrating some of the great accomplishments that Black people have made throughout history, and it's Manitoba's history and throughout Canada's history. It's about remembering some of that history as well and acknowledging that even in the struggling times, because those are things that we can learn from as well. It's about inspiring and educating young people to even reach higher heights and stand on the shoulders of people who have come before us, to thank all those people who have done so much work in our community for the Black community over many years. The Black History Month has been celebrated in Manitoba here for over 40 years, so I'm happy to be continuing celebrating this, and I'm proud that a bill that I brought in the fall, actually passed on December 1st of 2022, was called the Black History Month Act, actually makes February officially Black History Month in the province of Manitoba. So since it just passed in December of 2022, this actually makes this February this year the very first officially recognized Black History Month in the province of Manitoba, and I'm very proud of that.
Wonderful. So you are here now, so I want to take that chance and ask you about the community you represent in San Vital. There is like any challenging they face there, and you want their voices to be heard from this channel. Do you face any challenging in this area, specifically in Winnipeg?
Yes, in St. Vital there are a lot of challenges that people face. People are looking for a better life. Many people who are new to the country and new to Manitoba are living in St. Vital. There's a lot of newcomers. There's a great need of services, and as well there's a lot of poverty. And there's a greater need for services for those individuals. There's a greater need for support to help newcomers and to help low-income people and families find their way. And a lot of that is through those services, but it's also through making sure there's supports through education. So people and young people have opportunities to educate themselves to live and work in Manitoba. It's also looking for more opportunities to make sure there's good services through our healthcare system. You never know when you're going to get sick, so it's important for us to make sure those services are going to be there, accessible and available for people when they need it. Those are just some of the things that people talk to me about in St. Vital, that they're looking for more services and more needs, and that's something that I'm going to continue to fight for as their MLA.
Thank you very much. So we reached the end of this episode. If I missed any question or you want to wrap up everything with a final advice, this is the right time.
Well, I'm just so happy that we're having this conversation. Black History Month is an important time to be talking about these things because Black history is Manitoba's history, it is Canada's history. And I'm happy that people will be hearing about this message, not just through February, Black History Month, but all throughout the year, so that we can really be talking about all of these things and celebrating all of our diverse cultures in Manitoba all throughout the year.
Thank you, Jamie. I was really pleased to have you in Civic Platform. Thank you again for accepting my invitation.
Thank you, Zuher.
You are very welcome. We reach the end of our episode. Thank you for watching. If you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and wait for a new episode from Civic Platform.